I'll just turn off the...
This is my keyword presentation on Midsummer Night's Dream. As you, like I said, there is a method to the madness behind the background. It's based around the characters of the fairies, Oberon, Titania, Puck and all those lot. The word I've chosen to look at is shrewd. In its contemporary meaning, so its modern meaning, versus astute or sharp in practical matters. So, for example, a shrewd politician. Also, keen or piercing, or clever or perceptive, but its archaic Shakespearean meaning was to be mischievous. And it's basically how it looks at the fairies, that although Shakespeare did contemporise our modern understanding of fairies, he did actually still draw on their classical imagery and their ideology to be mischievous. An example of this is one of the fairies talking to Robin Goodfellow. Either I mistake your shape and making quite, or else you are that shrewd and knavish sprite called Robin Goodfellow. Are you not he that frights the maidens of the villagery, mislead night wanderers laughing at their harm? So he still does have the classical, I'm trying to think of the word now, the classical, let's say, ideology of normal fairies. Which got me to look at the Elizabethan folklore and what their main perception was of fairies at the time. Fairies were seen to be wicked creatures, often referred to as little devils who would punish humans by playing tricks on them. Shakespeare, I also found out that Shakespeare was actually one of the first to portray fairies with wings, as shown in Act 2, Scene 1, line 173-6, where it says, "Fetch me this herb, and be thou here again, ere the Leviathan can swim a league." And Puck replied, "I'll put a girdle round about the earth in 40 minutes. So obviously, putting it around the earth is sort of hinting that he's flying around it. Also found out that Puck actually translates literally as a devil or an imp. So that's sort of a link there. And Robin Goodfellow was, in Elizabethan folklore, a mischievous sprite who would do housework if well treated, otherwise he pretty much messed the place up. That then got me to look at more evidence to show that they're mischievous. So the Indian changeling boy was an obvious one for me. It says, "A lovely boy stolen from an Indian king. She never had so sweet a changeling, and jealous Oberon would have the child night of his trade to trace the forest wild." Found out that it highlights the mischievous nature that's still present in the fairies, like a changeling usually was a child left by fairies in exchange for one stolen. And here, the actual stolen child is referenced, so it is obviously quite a mischievous act to steal a child and replace it with someone else. Slightly harsh in my opinion, but there we go. Significance. The word shrewd here in its archaic derogatory form is used in conjunction with the fairies as a means of highlighting the classical interpretation of these mythical spirits as tricksters. Though Shakespeare employs magic both as a means of embodying the supernatural power of love and creating a surreal setting. So obviously you got the flower symbolising the magic of love and the surreal setting. So he's using magic again, like what we said in the last classes, that he's trying to get away. So it's not actually England, even though it actually is. So magic's one of the best ways of showing that. The misuse of such is where the mischief lies. So it's a misuse of magic. For example, wrong application of the love potion on Lysander and Demetrius falling in love with Hermia, one of the two, and then the transformation of Bottom's head into that of an ass, which is quite funny at the best of times. Though later in the play they do acquire the redeeming feature of helpfulness in regards to the lovers, which envisions the modern perception of fairies. So, for example, the tooth fairy is obviously a helpful sprite, not one that just tricks you and steals your teeth. It's interesting. I found it interesting how Shakespeare, within A Midsummer Night's Dream, effectively reinvents the perception of fairies, whilst at the same time he's still drawing on their classical ideology. So it's aspects of the given in order to recreate a new field. Otherwise, if he completely reinvented fairies, they just wouldn't be accepted by society or by the modern folklore. And there's my references.
Thank you very much. Any questions?